Zohran Mamdani may be the face everyone recognizes, but the real twist in this story is his wife. Her secret wealth, hidden past, and unexpected influence raise more questions than answers. The source of her wealth will change the way you see the Mamdanis forever. Today, I will tell you why Zohran's wife is richer than you think. Supportive wife. I've known Zohran Mamdani's wife long enough to tell you this. Before anyone knew her as Zohran's wife, Rama Duwaji was already on her own journey. A quiet, powerful story shaped by movement, identity, and a pencil she never let go of. Rama was born on June 30th, 1997 in Houston, Texas. Her parents are from Damascus, Syria, and the crazy part is that I can't even tell you their names. Are you wondering why? The truth is, Rama has never shared her parents' names. She's protective of her family's privacy. She only describes them as my mother, who is a doctor, and my father, who is a software developer. Interestingly, both are very supportive of her career, even though they wanted her to be a doctor. If you know Rama, you'd know she values two things more than anything: privacy and art. So it makes perfect sense that her relationship with Zohran began quietly. They matched on Hinge in 2021, and even though they kept the details of their first date to themselves, everyone close to them could feel how serious it was. And their wedding story? It tells you everything. Why would a woman who loves her privacy ride the subway, New York's underground train, in the rain, to the city clerk's office for a simple ceremony? Why choose a $35 bouquet and not a luxury ballroom? Because she wasn't marrying him for his money or title. It was for love, true love. Sure, they later had a large family celebration in Dubai and a 3-day lavish celebration in Uganda. But that quiet New York morning was the real love story. However, before they met in 2021, Rama already had a whole life as an artist, showing her work in Paris, training in Beirut, and illustrating for The New Yorker and Apple. With a net worth of about $400,000, she wasn't running after anyone's last name or influence. She had her own path, her own audience, her own kind of success. And I say this with certainty because I watched it happen. Rama was never looking for a mayor. She was just looking for someone who felt like home, and Zohran sure feels like home. The crazy part? She supported him in ways that don't make headlines, but they matter. Did you know that she helped build the entire visual identity of Zohran's campaign? Quietly sketching ideas, choosing colors, guiding the ideas, while still protecting her own artistic voice? And that's not all. When the primary election got brutal, with opponents attacking him from every angle, it was Rama who stood by him, posting simple, steady messages like, "Couldn't possibly be prouder, not to show off, but to strengthen him." That's who Rama is, a woman who could have stayed in her own bright world of art and never let anyone in. But instead, she chose to open her heart to a man who fights every single day for working people. She loves him for how he sees the world, for the future he wants to build, and for the way he still looks at her like she's the only person in the room. And she supports him the way a real partner does, by staying beside him exactly when he needs her most. And if you think their past was surprising, just wait until you see what this new chapter demands of them. The future of Zohran and Rama. Now that you understand where they both come from, the real question is, where are they headed? And I say this with complete confidence. The future of Zohran and Rama is about to look nothing like their past. Because the moment he won the mayoral race on November 4th, 2025, everything around them began to shift. Their home, their lifestyle, the pressure, the expectations, even the air they breathe. You might not know this, but right now, they're still living in that small, rent-stabilized one-bedroom in Astoria, Queens. A $2,300 a month apartment with noisy neighbors, a tiny hallway, and a tiny kitchen. No luxury car, no private elevator, no hidden penthouse. It's the kind of place most New Yorkers know too well. But here's the twist. Starting in January 2026, when Mamdani resumes office, they'll be living in Gracie Mansion, the official mayoral residence in Carl Schurz Park, a historic estate overlooking the East River, staffed, guarded, and polished with all manner of luxury. And that move raises a question I think everyone in this city is silently asking. What happens when a man built on modesty suddenly becomes the guardian of luxury? Because Gracie Mansion isn't just a house, it's a symbol of class. Exotic weddings have been held there. Presidents have stayed there. Some of the biggest political deals in the city's history were whispered across its long corridors. And now Zoran, the subway-riding and housing activist kid from Queens, is stepping into that world with the woman he met on Hinge. So the question becomes, can a man fighting for the working class live in one of the city's most luxurious homes without losing his integrity? If you ask me, the answer depends on something most people don't talk about: who he goes home to every night. And that's where Rama matters. She's about to become one of the most visible women in New York, profiled in Vogue magazine, photographed on red carpets, watched by millions who now follow her on Instagram. And yet, if you've watched her closely, you know she has zero interest in playing the perfect political spouse. She posts her art, her ceramics, her quiet days. She doesn't chase attention, but attention is coming anyway. So here's the big question. Can an artist who values privacy survive the spotlight of Gracie Mansion? Because from January 2026, every dinner, every event, every outfit, every guest list becomes public record. There will be staff in the hallways, security in the park, and reporters outside the gates. Their life will no longer be just theirs. But, if I'm being honest, the real question isn't whether they can handle power. The real question is whether New York is ready for a mayor and a first lady who never planned on living in a mansion, yet suddenly carries the weight of one. And if you are already impressed, wait until you hear about Zoran's parents. Supportive parents. To be honest, to understand the kind of man Zoran is, steady, grounded, fearless when it matters, you have to meet the two people who shaped him long before New York ever heard his name. And trust me, his parents didn't just raise him, they built the world that raised him. I've watched this family for years, and there's something you feel the moment you step into their home. Love, pride, and purpose. Not the loud kind, the steady kind that sits in the way they look at their son, like he's carrying a piece of their story forward. Let's start with his mother, Mira Nair. To most people, she's the award-winning filmmaker behind The Perez Family, Mississippi Masala, Vanity Fair, and the Oscar-nominated Salaam Bombay. But to Zoran, she is simply Mama, the woman who taught him that if you don't tell your own story, someone else will tell it for you. I'll never forget the day she posted his swearing-in photo after winning the New York State Assembly back in 2021, calling him "my darling son." She wasn't celebrating the seat. She was celebrating the boy who grew up at her feet, learning empathy from the inside out. But let me ask you, who actually needs political mentors when your father is Mahmoud Mamdani, one of the most respected political scholars in the world today? Mahmoud is a Columbia professor and global thinker, a man whose ideas shaped entire academic fields, and at the same time shaped the way his son sees justice, housing, citizenship, and identity. I tell you this for free. When Zoran says politics is personal, he's quoting a lifetime of dinner-table conversations with his dad. But here is what most people forget. Mahmoud Mamdani doesn't just talk about injustice in class. His family lived with the cost of injustice. They were chased from Uganda under Idi Amin, forced to rebuild their lives from scratch in the UK. Later, when some of their old properties were returned, the family learned something powerful. What you lose, what you reclaim, what you fight for, all of it becomes part of your backbone. And today, that backbone is Zoran Mamdani. And in case you are still wondering, Mahmoud and Mira didn't just support Zoran's career. They built the moral, intellectual, and emotional foundation for it. They raised a son who believes the government should serve the people, not the powerful. They never raised Zoran to chase power. They raised him to chase purpose. And that right there is the most outstanding support a child ever needs. So next time, when people ask how Zoran became the kind of leader he is, the answer is simple. He comes from a home where love, intellect, and courage are normal. After everything you've heard, do you think Rama's hidden wealth and Zoran's new power will reshape their story? Or is there still more to uncover about this couple? Let me know in the comments, and if you liked this video, click on the card on your screen for more.